Hi, I'm Billie. I'm a teaching artist with LACMA. Today, we're going to create stop-motion animation inspired by film and the moving image. Throughout the video, you can press pause so that you have time to do each step, or you might even want to watch the whole video before you start your artwork today. Let's check out what materials you need. The materials you'll need are some glue, scissors, some tape, a white piece of paper or other paper to act as a base for your collage, and then you'll also need some collage materials. I want us to be very experimental and creative with the materials that we use today. So you'll notice I've got some coloured papers here, a scrap of old fabric. I have a brown paper bag that has an interesting texture that I got some shopping in. You can even use colours and shapes from junk mail ads or other mail that you get that you would otherwise throw away. I found some tin foil, which has really great reflective properties, which will be really cool in our animation. Also have some tissue paper. You can also look for the shapes of food packaging or lids that are interesting to you. For example, I really like this red circular shape, so I might use that as well. I even had some old stationery that I could chop up, and I like it because it's see-through and purple. I even had a piece of plastic that I had when I was doing a painting, and I really like the colours and textures. So look around your house for things like this. And if you can't find anything else, you can even use old artworks or little pieces of old drawings or paintings that you can cut up and use in your animation. You're also going to need a smartphone with a camera. If you don't have access to a smartphone, don't worry. You can focus on the collage part of this project. But if you do have a smartphone, you're also going to need to download a stop motion app. So if you search stop motion, you should be able to find some free apps that will help you to create your animation. If you can't download an app, you can also use what's called a time-lapse feature on your camera. That's time-lapse. Time-lapse basically means that you can fast forward or speed up your video, so it creates a really cool effect. Different than stop motion, but it still creates a really cool video. So if you want to do that, depending on what camera you have, you can usually find the time-lapse setting in your camera settings on your phone. If you don't have either of those things, you can also use your camera to just shoot a regular video of you creating your collage and adding different layers and shapes. Or you could take a series of photographs as you build and create your collage. Finally, you're going to need a way to suspend your camera over your artwork where your collage is going to be made. I'm going to use a gooseneck phone holder like this one. But you can also create your own stand using items that you can find at home, such as containers or stacks of books and a flat rod. To get some inspiration for this project, we're going to explore a film by artist Jennifer West. But before we do that, what is film? Before we watched movies on streaming services and DVDs, there were VHS tapes, and before that, movies were shown on film. Film is a thin, flexible strip of plastic or other material coated with a light-sensitive substance that is then exposed in a camera, used to produce photographs or motion pictures. Each frame in a strip of film captures an image like a photograph. And when you put lots of these images together and show them one after the other very quickly, we create moving images, or movies. The way this is done with film is that the film strip is run through a light projector, and the images in each frame are projected onto a screen or other surface in rapid succession. Have you ever used a flipbook before? It's a similar idea. When you have similar images gradually progressing or changing on each page, and then you flip the pages quickly, it appears that the images are moving. See how there are still images that change very slightly on each page? Stop motion animation is another way of creating moving images like this. But instead of drawing, we can move or change objects or shapes and take photos of them. Now that we know a little more about film, let's check out Jennifer West's work more closely. What is going on in this film? Does it remind you of anything? It looks like we can see some kind of thick, bubbling liquid. These images were taken at the Brea Tar Pits. The Brea Tar Pits are located next to LA County Museum of Art, or LACMA. The pits can teach us about our planet's history. They are a gateway back to the Ice Age, right in the heart of LA. They were formed because natural asphalt, tar, or what is called brea in Spanish, has seeped up from the ground for tens of thousands of years. Over many centuries, the sticky tar has preserved the bones of trapped animals, and scientists study the fossils and remains. Jennifer West often uses experimental techniques to create her films. Do you notice the scratches, stains, flashing colours, shapes and forms on the surface of the film? How do you think they got there? West started by creating films without a camera, by staining and transforming film strips, creating moving abstract shapes and colours. The title of this artwork might give us a clue as to what she used here. The work is called Tar Pits Film, 16mm film negative thrown in the Brea Tar Pits, ridden over hot tarmac by a motorcycle, soaked in kitty litter, lighter fluid, mayonnaise, and body lotion. So she used a camera to film the Brea Tar Pits and then threw the film into the tar, creating these stains and breaks in the images. In a sense, the film has been directly affected by the ancient tar it is representing. Inspired by West's film, we're going to create our own moving image artworks by recording the creation of a collage. Like West, we're going to use unexpected materials to do this. We'll layer colours and shapes, and then take videos or photographs using our smartphone to create moving images. The first step is to think about how we want both our collage and animation to look by choosing our materials, cutting out shapes, and experimenting with different arrangements. Inspired by the shapes and colours in West's video, my collage and animation is going to use abstract shapes and colours. But you could add images of familiar objects or figures such as animals or people. It's up to you. Once we have all the shapes we want, we can begin setting up for our animation. We need to set up our camera so that it points at our paper where we're going to make our collage. And we don't want it to move around a lot, so it needs to be quite stable. You can see here I've got my gooseneck stand that I've got my phone kind of anchored into. But if you don't have a stand like this, you can make your own using materials you can find at home. Before you set up your stand, you want to make sure you have good lighting on your paper. Move closer to a window or natural light source and make sure there aren't any strong shadows cast on your paper. Now that I'm happy with my lighting, I'm going to use these containers and books stacked on top of each other, either side of my paper. And I'm going to place a ruler across the top. It's important that my camera is steady, so to make sure that my stand doesn't move or fall while I'm creating my animation, I'm going to place tape at each end of the ruler and on the edges of my paper. Now I'm going to place my phone on the ruler. Look at your camera screen. You want to make sure that only your paper is in your camera frame, so I'll move my device until it's in the right place. If your camera is further away from your paper, your frame, or the area you have to create your collage animation, will be larger. If your camera is closer, your frame will be smaller. So you might want to play with the height of your stand until you get it right. For the next portion of this video, I'll be showing you how to create a stop motion animation. If you don't have a stop motion app, remember the other suggestions I gave you at the beginning of this video. To create your animation, you should start with white paper and have your stop motion animation app open and ready to take pictures. Place one shape or object on your page and take a picture. Using your app, you will take a photo each time you add something or take something away. Moving images, animation, stop motion, and film all originally relied on the idea that you would take still images that changed only ever so slightly and string them together so that they appear to move. As you create your animation, make sure to make very small changes to your collage each time and take a photo after each change. If you want to make an object appear to travel across the page, you can place an object at the very edge of your camera frame and then gradually take pictures as you move it across your paper. You could start by taking a few pictures and then watching your animation back to see how it turned out. Experiment and have fun. Now let's take a look at how my animation came out. liked how the shapes and colours moved. But if there are things that I want to change later, I might go back into my device, onto my app, and explore the settings and see if I can make any edits or changes. Once you're happy with your animation and you've finished with your collage, you can glue down all of the different shapes and colours, like I did here, so that you have a physical artwork to go along with your animation. I hope that you can share your artwork from today's video with your friends and family and tell them all about what you created. I hope that you can keep making art at home, experimenting, and I look forward to seeing you in future projects. Bye bye for now.